Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to start a very interesting session today, building better revenue models. Kevin is a great person, and I met him in 2013 in Babson. And he was a faculty member, and I was doing my fellowship. He was kind enough, he took me a tour of Boston. He took me around to various places. We had lunch in his house, and he took me to the rooftop to give me a panoramic view. And Kevin loves entrepreneurship. He sleeps, eats, and breathes in entrepreneurship. He has been teaching, engaged in Harvard Business School as well. And then we again met in Bangkok, at Bangkok University. So he loves entrepreneurship, and we love him as well. So he will be sharing his insights on building better revenue models. And we're looking forward to listen to him. And there are a lot of people from across the country, Kevin. So thank you very much, and over to you.
Excellent. Thank you for that kind introduction. Okay, so everybody can hear me, right? All good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, all good, all good. You can start, all good.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this notion of better revenue models. And I think in entrepreneurship, we think about the overall business model, which is how we set up all of our operations to create the value for delivering to our customers. But I want to focus specifically today on the creativity you need to have when thinking about revenue models. And let me just move forward here just a moment. Hang on, it's inviting me to do something. Okay. So first of all, what animal do we see here? Comments. You can put the comments in the why is it? Okay. You can put the comments in the text box if you want. What animal do we see?
People are sharing their answers in chat box. Kevin?
I can see the chat. Frogs. Oh, we see some broad agreement on frogs, and some people see something else. So if I continue on and I tilt the picture a little bit, and then I say, do you see anything else, right? And then maybe if I just tilt it one more time, what do we see? So now, can we all see, some people saw a frog at the beginning. Some people saw maybe a frog and a horse. And if we tilt it around, now we're seeing a horse. So the point here is, if we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. And that's what I want to do for the next 45 minutes, is have you think and look differently at your revenue models. Because often the greatest innovations is not the best new product or the best new solution to the need, but sometimes the most amazing innovation can be the simplest item, which is changing how you charge your customers. And so fundamentally, before we get going on revenue models, every business shares these three items, right? Every business needs to figure out, how is cash coming in? What are my cash inflows? Now, broadly, most cash comes from selling your services or your product. But you can also generate cash from liquidating assets that you have on hand, selling machinery you no longer need, or selling real estate that you no longer need to use of. So that's another legitimate form of raising cash. And obviously you can get cash from investors or get cash from lending activities. So those are financial cash inflows. So really you have transactional cash inflows, asset-based cash inflows, or financial cash inflows, but it's all about getting cash into your business. And then every business operates in a smart way to manage their cash outflows, right? The money we pay other people for the costs of production and operating our business. And the idea of every successful business is to manage those inflows and manage those outflows and to keep the tank filled, to keep the cash balances up. Businesses do not go out of business because they run out of customers. Businesses go out of business because they run out of cash, right? You can sell unprofitably to customers, and at some point you just run out of cash. That's what causes the bankruptcy of businesses. It's never running out of customers, or it's rarely running out of customers. So now we're going to focus on the cash inflows. And I'm going to give you the key point of this session. If you're just to remember one thing, one piece of advice, and that is to constantly experiment with how you charge for your product or services. That's the key lesson I want to give you. And I'm going to show you a lot of different ways to do that. And one of the takeaways that will be distributed to everybody afterwards will be a 4-page sort of teaching note here. I'm just showing the cover page of the teaching note, but I'm going to give everybody a 4-page teaching note with 50 different revenue models for you to think about and consider. That's 50. So I don't want you to believe that there's just more than 1 or 2 or 3 different ways of doing things. There are at least 50 different ways of doing things. And creative pricing and delivery of your services can add tremendous amounts of revenues to your business. So let's get started. One is, what is this notion of a revenue model? Well, it's the logic we use to charge customers. And we always have to think about, why do we charge the way that we do, right? We can go into a hotel and we're charged by the night. But in Japan, you can go into a hotel and they'll charge you by the hour, because sometimes people just need to get out of their small houses and go rent a hotel for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4, or for a half day. At airports, they'll charge by the 12-hour time, because they realize that people will land and just need to sleep before they continue driving, and they don't need a full night. They need 6 or 8 hours or 12 hours to just sleep before they continue on the journey. So even just a hotel is, why do you charge the way you do? And oftentimes, the greatest creativity is in thinking about the different ways that we can charge. And the second message here is, now how could we charge differently? And that's what we're going to look at. But a quick question for everybody first. A warm-up. Here's a banana, right? Put in the comments, how could you apply a new revenue logic to a banana? What are the different ways of generating revenue from a banana? I'll just give you some examples. I could sell you a banana. I could sell you a dozen bananas. I could peel the banana, chop it up, and sell it to you. I could cover it in chocolate, put it on a stick, and freeze it and sell it to you. So just, what are the different ways of generating revenue from a banana? And I'm going to give each of you, you have 100 bananas in your inventory. How can you generate revenue from a collection of 100 bananas? Just comments into the comment box. I'm seeing some people already put them in. One person wants to sell milkshakes. Another person wants to make pudding. We're seeing some banana yogurt, right? So now we're talking about adding value to the banana, a banana pie. Now I'm getting very hungry, people. I know it's Ramadan, but I'm getting very hungry here. Some people want to extract the essence of the banana and sell the essence, which can be very high value, right? So we're seeing a lot of different ideas here, all right? The banana custard, banana bread. So we can make product from the banana, add value to the banana, and then charge more for the banana as a base ingredient than just selling the banana as it is. Okay? People are saying a banana for taping it to the wall and sell it as a piece of art. Yes, somebody got $190,000 for doing that. So fantastic. Thank you. Planting. Okay, so I will go on, and that's what we're going to talk about. And one of the cleverest businesses that I saw in selling a banana was this one in Japan. This business, what he did is he said in Japan, there's small households. And so you don't really want to buy 6 bananas at the same time. And what he did is he took the bananas and separated them from the ripest to the least ripe. And he put in one package from most ripe to least ripe, 6 bananas, so that you could have a banana a day and each banana would be ripe on the day that you wanted it. So just sometimes you can just add value by just sorting your product and packaging and bundling your product differently. It's still 6 bananas, but by putting them in different level stages of ripeness, he could add tremendous value. Okay, so that's just a great example of the creativity that we need to come up with as entrepreneurs. It can be simple ideas like different stages of ripeness and packaging them in one package that people will pay for versus new inventions and complex new products. Okay, so now let me show you some revenue models. I'm just going to run through a bunch of them. So here's one that's basically this notion of add-ons, right? How do you promote the extras? McDonald's makes more money from its French fries than it does from hamburgers. It sells the hamburger, but it always asks, do you want fries with that? Do you want a milkshake with that? Do you want a custard pie with that? It makes most of the money selling the add-ons, not from the hamburger. Come in for the $1 burger, but pay for the French fries. The same with Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts makes no money selling donuts. You go in for the donut, it makes most of its money selling the coffee, the high margin coffee that goes with the donut. But the donut is to get you in the door. The donut is break even. They make most of the money selling the drinks and the coffee that goes with the donut. So think about what are the extras and how can you make money from the extras? Another one, advertising. You can sell or rent access to the demographics. If you have a product like a newspaper, what you're doing, or a TV station, what TV stations do is they put programming in categories that generate a demographic for that hour or that 30 minutes. And then they go to the advertisers who want to sell products to that demographic. And the better their programming isolates the demographic, like soap operas at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Then, in fact, soap operas were invented in the 1930s to sell soap. They put on these soap operas, these mini dramas, to get housewives who were, at the time in the 1930s, it was housewives who were cleaning their houses and who could have something to watch on TV while they were cleaning their house. And that's what they were used at the time. The biggest advertisers were soap, and that's why they're called soap operas, right? And so late at night, you see beer commercials. After dinner, you see car commercials. It's who is watching those shows and how do you then sell the ads to people who want to get at that demographic. So it's a great business. You can rent or sell access to a demographic and create a business that brings a demographic together. There's a lot of payment models that you can do. And the key here is don't try to figure out the right payment model. Offer customers different choices of paying. You can pay by the event. I get my ticket, I can watch my movie. I can pay by a unit of time, right? I can rent my hotel overnight. I can rent my car by the day. My local store here has a local vegetable store. And if I want to give them $400 now, they'll give me credit for $500 worth of vegetables. And they do that in January, February, March to get the money before the growing season. so that they can fund their growing season, because money earlier is worth a discount to them. And for me, I'm happy to give them the money earlier to get a discount on my vegetables later. So you can think about different payment models and do a lot of experimenting on how you want to charge. Another one is affiliate models, where you can just you generate referral commissions, so that you're basically promoting somebody else's product to your customers, and you're earning commissions, right? You join the program, promote their product, track the sales, earn commissions. Another one is auctions. You can generate auctions are great. Say we're willing to bid now to upgrade yourself to business class, and you might bid $100 or $200 or $300, and they may take the top 5 or 6 bidders and give them all a premium up to business class. But I could have paid $400 for mine, and you could have paid $100 for your upgrade. So we're bidding for a limited number of goods, but the upgrade, all 6 upgrades will be sold to the 6 highest bidders. So that's called reverse auctions, name your price. And it's a great way to clear out inventory. Another model is this association model, where you're collecting an annual membership dues or fees, right? If you're usually industry associations, so like a builders association or a marketing association, if you're trying to gather a group of people together, professionals that have some shared interests, or any group, a tennis club or a bridge club, a card club, any group of people that have a shared interest are willing to pay a membership fee to be around people with other shared interests. You can also have clubs that are not just a shared interest, but they have access to facilities, right? Swimming clubs, gym memberships, sailing clubs, golf clubs. You're getting, you pay a one-time entrance fee, and then you're paying annual fees. But it's usually to have a limited amount of curated people access a shared asset, and you're building a community around that asset. Some people now in Boston here, they changed the rules on sales of cigarettes and cigars. So many of the shops that used to sell cigars turned themselves into a cigar smoking club or a cigar bar, because it became too difficult to sell cigars. But instead they sell a membership, and you can go to that same shop and you can buy cigars, and you can sit in that store and smoke cigars with other people who want to smoke cigars, and they became cigar clubs, right? So it was a shop that sold cigars, and then rules changed, times changed, now it became a club that you can get together and smoke cigars with other cigar smokers. So models change.
Can you share your screen, please?
Yes, your screen is off.
Is it not sharing? Just a moment.
Yeah, it's disabled.
I
So if somebody writes, I don't know, you can just disconnect and then connect again, I think. I don't know why is this happening. Some scribbling happening.
Just
so can you please share?
Yeah, let me just look to see, share my screen, my PowerPoint, share.
Yes, exactly.
We're back. Okay. What do you, and I assume it's, if you're scribbling on the presentation, at least you're interacting with the presentation. So thank you. Okay, so we had just gotten this notion of clubs. There's another one of brokers, right? Anytime that you can list like those car magazines or real estate, anytime that there's a category of product to be sold, a perfectly legitimate revenue model is to be a broker model, where you get to charge people to list their product. And then when a transaction happens, you're going to charge a transaction commission, right? So think about whatever your business is and go, should I be a broker? right? If you want to sell cars, well, instead of buying and selling cars, why don't you be a broker for helping people buy and sell X or buy and sell Y? It's a perfectly legitimate revenue model that people overlook. Another one is this bait and hook, where you sell a platform like the razor blade and the razor, but you give people a cheap deal on the razor, and then you're making money over time selling the razor blades or selling the refills. Or in my neighborhood right now, this Keurig coffee, everybody seems to have one. So you buy the Keurig coffee, and then every brand, Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks and Coffee Mountain and all the drinking chocolate companies are now all putting their branded product into these pods that people can buy their favorite brand if you're a Keurig customer, right? And everybody's making money on selling the refills. And the key here is get that Keurig into the house, and then every brand can win on the Keurig. And it's not brand competition, it's platform competition. It's Keurig versus another brand. Nespresso is another brand that's used. So again, bait and hook, and how do you sell refills? Another notion is you can be in the package business, right? You don't have to be, I'll use Godiva here. Godiva sells their chocolates. They sell their chocolates in the stores. They sell the chocolates in the Godiva shops. They sell the chocolates at the airports. But there's a whole set of businesses that do hampers, and they can package up Godiva chocolates or a mix of Godiva chocolates and sell the package of related goods. At Christmas in my neighborhood, people often put chocolate and cheese and wine together into one package, right? And that's what Microsoft did. Microsoft Office 365. It's very hard now to just go buy Excel. I can now just buy a subscription to Office 365, and I get Excel and PowerPoint and Word and Outlook. I'm getting the whole package for one subscription, whether I use the parts of the package or not. So you can just think about, don't think about one individual product, but think about, is there more revenue for me? Am I better off being a packager and doing some pre-designed packages and selling packages to people and versus individual products? And that's the difference between a travel agency, right? Travel agencies sell packages that will give you the hotel and the airline and do all the booking for you. It's a package. Or I can go buy the airline and the hotel myself. Another notion here is, can you burden shift? What can we do to have the customer complete key tasks, right? We saw it on the top left, self-service check-in. The airlines started doing that to save money and add convenience to customers. Then on the top right, supermarkets started doing it. Now all of a sudden I go to the supermarket and I have to learn to be a cashier, and I have to scan my own products, and I have to put in my own credit card, and I have to put all my products into my bag and make sure that I put the eggs on the top and the milk on the bottom. I'm doing all of those tasks that last year that cashier used to do. Or IKEA in the bottom left. If I want cheap furniture, I can assemble it myself. Or now what we are is we're in the experience economy. This bottom right is a paint party studio where essentially they're just renting an empty room and saying, come book a group of people to come along, and we're just going to paint a picture, and we're going to have an experience of painting or baking or making a clay plates or baking a cake or painting a picture. And we're charging people to come and make their own product and enjoy the experience of making their own product. And then you can take your finished product home with you. But you're paying for the experience to actually work on doing something that you used to buy already pre-made from someone else. So it's shifting it. So there's different ways of charging people, burden shifting the tasks, and even charging people to make their own product. So that's a notion, right? Usually we're thinking about people have to pay us to make it. What if we charge people to make their own product? it's a good business model. And another revenue model is direct sales, where you get into one-to-one introductions or product demonstrations. There's certain products, like usually it's these multi-level marketing, but like Herbalife, Amway, Tupperware, some of these brands, cosmetics, nutrition. There's many products that just do very well in one-to-one sales environments, where you can still knock on people's doors, or you can still invite a small group of people together for a demonstration, and the demonstration sells the product. So for whatever your product is, should you be doing a revenue model of helping recruit demonstrators to demonstrate your product, take orders, and get commission from selling your product. Direct sales, one-to-one, demonstration-based selling is still a very popular model worldwide, and it's very much overlooked as people think more digitally. Crowdsourcing is another one. How do you use the crowd to create value? This is another model where this company 99 Designs, what they do is, if I'm looking for a new logo for my business, I can go to 99 Designs. And the rule there is I put out what I'm looking for. It's a new logo for my business, and here's what it does. And a bunch of people will submit designs, and I'll say, I'm going to pay $50 for the winning design. And so I'll put my charter out there. I'm going to pay $50, and I'm looking for a logo for my small business. And people will submit designs, and when I pick the winner, that person gets the $50, but everybody else submits on their own risk, hoping to win the $50. So that's crowdsourcing, and you're using the crowd to create the value, and then I'm paying for the best idea from the crowd. So again, it's another revenue model. Secure marketplaces is another market. If you can provide a very secure marketplace for people for buyers and sellers to do business with each other for fees, but like the NASDAQ stock market or Visa and MasterCard is a secure marketplace. I don't judge whether I can take a Visa or a MasterCard, because it's up to Visa to make sure that customer can pay or not. But I know if I take the Visa, Visa's going to pay me. Or the App Store, right? The App Store or Google Store, they decide what apps get in, and they'll charge the app maker. Apple takes 70%, and 30% goes back to the app maker of whatever people pay, right? So it's a trusted, controlled marketplace where everybody knows when I go to the App Store, I know I'm not going to get a bogus or there's some quality control already there, right? So that's a secure marketplace. Then we have a less secure buyer beware platforms, right? I can buy and sell things on eBay, on any of these platforms worldwide, Etsy, Amazon, eBay, Flipkart. But the buyers haven't really been fully vetted, and the sellers haven't really been fully vetted, and it's less secure. There's a little bit still of buyer beware, but there's still some vetting. I'll still do it because it's Amazon and there's somebody to complain to, but I still need to be very careful whether I'm buying something legitimate or counterfeit on Amazon or eBay. And it's up to the buyer to just try to trust and verify from other buyers who have given that seller ratings or recommendations, right? So it's still buyer beware, but it's still a platform for connecting buyers and sellers, and the platform operator gets the fees. So you don't always have to be the buyer or the seller, you can be the operator. Another model, fractional ownership, right? There's one asset that's usually a bit more expensive than one of us can normally afford. And maybe it's a private jet or a big yacht or a beach house, or in my neighborhood, season tickets to the Red Sox, right? You have to buy, there's 80 home games, and you have to pay like $5,000 for the full package. And what often happens is groups of friends say, all right, I'm not going to go to 80 games, but 10 of us might get together and say, we'll all take 8 tickets each, and we'll randomly draw for the 8 tickets, but 10 people can get, it's in the same season tickets at the same location, but now we're dividing attending the game across 8 or 10 people, right? So it's a fractional ownership of the asset. The same with timeshares or net jets for jet share or yacht share. You can actually own an asset and have a bunch of partial owners where everybody gets a use of it for a week or for a day or for an hour, but its ownership is limited to fractional owners who are not known to each other, but somebody is managing the shared ownership, right? It's another perfectly legitimate business model, revenue model. You can also do fractional access, right? A few years ago, like Home Depots and started getting into the tool rental, like this B2C, but business to consumer. Home Depot owns all the tools. I could go rent a tool. And then what has happened is we've gone now consumer to consumer platform where my neighbors can own the tools. And there's a platform that says, if I'm looking for a chainsaw, the nearest person the person living nearest to me who has a chainsaw that's available for rent is Jimmy, and Jimmy's looking for $20 an hour for his chainsaw. And I can use the platform to book hiring that chainsaw from Jimmy, who lives near me, and I can pay Jimmy through the platform instead of going to Home Depot and getting it from an institution. And it's the same with Zipcar is a partial, I can rent in my neighborhood, I can rent a car by the hour, but now there's a service like GetAround where one of my neighbors is willing to rent their car by the hour, but it would go through a platform called GetAround, and they list their car on GetAround, and then I can see is there a neighbor near me who wants to rent the car for my use by the hour, and the service will cover the insurance. So we're seeing this B2B asset rental moving to consumer asset rental. You don't have to own the assets to be in the business. You can make perfect business connecting buyers and sellers on platforms. You don't have to own products. Another one is franchising. If you have a business that's done very well, why not teach other people how to run that exact business and collect license fees and royalties in exchange for the exact operating manual and the branding and the successful operating procedures for your business? So if you know exactly how to run a coffee shop, it is perfectly legitimate to think about, should I franchise this coffee shop? Should I franchise my ice cream shop? If you do it well, and you've documented every stage of the way, and you can then you can franchise your business by saying, I'm going to give you my operating manual, and I'm going to supply you with all the products you need to run this business in exchange for some licensing fees and royalties from you, because I'm better at methods and procedures than I am at actually running a business. Again, perfectly legitimate. There are thousands of businesses that go franchises and think about a franchise model. So it's a great way to scale up. Another one is a freemium model. Offer something for free and then charge people a premium. Like LinkedIn does it, Spotify does it, Dropbox does it. What are you going to give me for free? And then charge me for the upgrade, right? That's the freemium. And then you charge a premium to remove ads, or you charge a premium to give me extra features. But offering something, especially digital products, to people for free gets them used to using your service and your product. Like Zoom, there's a free version and then there's a paid version, right? Licensing. If you do something well, like if I've taken a whole bunch of pictures and I have or if I've recorded songs, or if I've made movies, I can license the right to use whatever I've created. If I've generated a product, a painting, a picture, a film, anything that I've created can be licensed to other people for them to use it. My likeness, my image, right? If I were more handsome, I might be able to license my image to advertisers to use in commercials, right? So you can license anything. Just think about, do I have something that other people will pay a fee for the right to use for a limited basis? Legitimate revenue model. Another one, leasing. Sometimes people may want to buy something that you're selling and it's a bit expensive. So maybe you can arrange with a leasing company. There's the seller, there's the buyer, who's the leasee. And if you can find someone to maybe finance that lease, you can sell to the buyer and collect all your money. But what happens is the title moves to the financier, the lessor, and the buyer will pay the lessor over time. At the end of the lease, the buyer may just say, great, I only wanted, car leases are common for 3 years. I only wanted that product for 3 years. Or they can buy the product for a final dollar. So this is common in leasing of refrigeration equipment for restaurants, or depreciating assets like trucks and cars, etc. And any seller can find a leasing company that's willing to enter into a financial transaction with the buyers and make it affordable to the buyer to pay over time, but the seller gets all their money right now. Loss leaders, right? You can just supermarkets, when you see all those coupons that say, come next week, we're doing chicken wings for 10 cents each. It's a loss leader to get people into the supermarket to buy those 10-cent chicken wings because it's Super Bowl Sunday. And then while they're in there, they'll buy other things. And it's really to get people in to create the foot traffic. It helps with brand loyalty. It helps with clearing out inventory that they don't need, or it helps meet some competitive pressures. But there's nothing wrong with selling a product at a loss if you think that as long as there's some terms and conditions applied, that the person has to show up, and it gives you an opportunity to try to convince them to buy something else. Low-cost leadership is another one, right? Ryanair, they'll sell you a cheap ticket to go from Dublin to London, but they're also selling advertising on all this to everybody who flies. They charge very high credit card fees. They're trying to sell you water. They're trying to sell you a priority upgrade. And if you want to bring your bag on board, you can pay for the $20 plane ticket or the €20 plane ticket. But if you want a bag, you have to pay another 20, 40, 60, 80 euros. So you make that lead product, that ticket is cheap, but all the add-ons is where they make all their money. And they get revenue 5, 6, 7, 8 different ways from a potential passenger. And they also land their passengers at smaller airports. And the only way to get from that smaller airport to the city center, like outside of Paris, is you have to rent a seat on a bus provided by, you guessed it, Ryanair. So there you go. And another one is multi-level marketing is another model that you can have. It's many companies, you're not just selling the product, but you're selling the vision for being a salesperson to what they call the downline. You're selling the opportunity for people below you to get rich by recruiting more people below them. And so again, it's a legitimate model, and it usually goes 2, 3, 4 levels deep, and then it stops. But
I think there's some, can I please do it again?
Yeah.
So we have, this is Boston River behind, is it?
Yeah, yes.
The picture is that of Boston. Great.
It's taken from standing outside MIT, looking across at Boston.
Great.
So there we go. So there's another model here, which is called the negative operating cycle, which is you pay after you collect your cash. So sometimes you go into these stores that have all of these art on the walls or pottery made by a lot of artists. That store never paid anyone for any of the product in the store. They said, we're going to provide a storefront. You as the artist can put your product in there. And only after we collect the money from the customer, we'll pay you building the computer and buying the component, ordering the components and getting the components in to make that computer. So there's no risk. they got paid upfront and then they pay the supplier afterwards. So again, think about, you don't always have to pay in advance for things. Think about a model, can I get paid upfront from my customers and then trigger my ordering? Just be patient. You don't have to control all the elements. And I'm just going to go through 2 or 3 more and then I'll tie this up. So to give some questions here. So then there's consumption location models, right? You can offer choices. We saw to go, there's the difference between a to go restaurant that will provide the food in the box or the drinks in a crate. And then there's the dine in, right? Where you'll get your food on a plate and you'll have your drinks in a glass. And then there's the food truck that will bring the restaurant to you. The food truck, the chip van will park outside your place of business or come to your party and allow you to eat and drink where the volume is. So you can rent a food truck for a private party, or the food truck will just drive around to different places at different times of the day to take advantage of different crowds. So again, these are very different models. And now with COVID in Boston, just yesterday, the mayor of Boston, if you had a license to be, so I just want for everybody present, as we think about revenue models, for a business fundamentally operates in time between 2 balance sheets. It always starts with a balance sheet of what are the assets that you had, and you use your assets to generate income, right? That's measured on your income statement. And when, depending on when you collect money and when you pay money, the income statement is essentially a statement of the promises that people have made to pay you money, minus the promises like your costs of goods sold and your rent and everything. Those are all the costs, the promises that you made to pay other people money. And in theory, if you keep all your if people keep their promises to you to pay you for the services you provided, and you keep your promises to others to pay them for the overheads that they've provided to you, in theory, you'll end up with a profit margin, right? And the statement of cash flows is just measuring the difference between what happens in theory on your income statement versus what actually happened. Did you actually collect the money you were owed? Did you pay the money that you owed to others? And then you end up with the balance sheet too after that time, at the end of the year or at the end of the quarter. So anyone looking at a business, think of a business as you're starting with a balance sheet. You make promises to others to pay them. Other people pay promises to you to pay you. You collect the money or you pay the money. And at the end of the day, you end up with a stronger balance sheet or a weaker balance sheet. And that's fundamentally the business of being in business and what all businesses do. And how well you manage that and what you sell and how you create revenue and how you manage your costs and all the strategy decisions and financing decisions that you make, they're all for the purpose of moving from balance sheet 1, time 1 to balance sheet time 2 smartly and in a way that keeps you solvent. So that I just wanted to just summarize and synthesize the role of financial statements to a business. And then I'll just conclude. We went through this and essentially what I've tried to help you here is just to change the way that you look at things and see revenue models differently. And you must experiment with how you charge for and deliver on the value that you created. And that's where I'll stop. So I can take any questions or
yes, exactly. Thanks a lot, Kevin. It was once again a very interesting perspective that it depends on how you look at things. And there are various ways at looking at things. And we have to continuously keep on learning how to look at things. So we need to keep on developing ourselves. So once again, I'm thankful. We have like more than 80 people from all over the country, from various parts of the country. And Sarfaraz Mia is here from New York. Professor Mia is a professor of entrepreneurship from New York. I would like to welcome him, sir. Sarfaraz Mia Saab. Hello, sir. And he's there from New York. And see, you are so He was so excited that people are there to listen to you, Kevin. We have a lot of mother entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, agriculture entrepreneurs. They're various students of our programs. So there's one question coming from us, from Asim from Islamabad, and he says, which revenue models are? Where is the question? It's moving so quickly. You are best, Kevin. Kevin, sir, how can we contact you? The question was Asim, Kevin, which revenue models are more suitable for effectual startups? Effectuation,
yes.
the Saraswati thing. Saraswati with us 2 days ago. She talked from Garden.
Yes. So effectuation it's really, for me, it's experimentation, right? And so the models are what you can afford. And
yes.
And that's the best model, is what can you afford? And sometimes you just have to, effectuation is experimentation. And you can offer packages. The key is always offering your consumer choice. 5 years ago, we would spend a lot of time trying to figure out and do market research on what the customer wanted and come up with the answer. And 5 years ago, we were all very arrogant and we treated the consumers as dumb. In the modern world, the consumer values choice. And any business can say to a customer, here's what I have to offer you. How would you like to pay me? Do you want to pay me up front? Do you want to pay me monthly? Do you want to pay me after, depending on how much value you get? And ask different customers how they want to pay for the value that you have generated for them. It's point one. Offer the customer choice. And point two, the key objective of segmentation and marketing is to make yourself known to the customers that are most likely to pay you the most. They're most likely to find your product the most valuable for their needs. Not every customer will value you equally, and there's no one price for your product or service. There's a price above which, if I'm not getting the value for the price I pay, I'm not buying anything. So your product has to be valuable to me. And the more valuable it is to me, the more I'm going to pay you. And the sooner I'll pay you. And the quicker I'll pay you. And the more eagerly I'll pay you. If it's not that valuable to me, you're going to be in collections problems. You're talking to the wrong customers. Find another way of pricing or find another customer group. So it really is experimentation. And you have to keep experimenting on how sometimes the greatest innovation in business is changing your pricing model, your revenue model.
There's very interesting people. Sadaf Taj, he's a mother entrepreneur. She said, I love this session, amazing information coming in. And sir, there's one question that, do you think these models will be equally applicable in Pakistan, in developing country context, or there's a lot of cultural thing coming in, or
Yeah.
Have you any experience in South America? You have been working in South America somewhere, I think.
You're going to receive 50 different models. Fundamentally, all business is, I'm going to offer value in exchange for extracting your cash for me. The CEO is the chief extraction officer. I want to extract cash from you for the value that I provide. And I'm giving you 50 different potential models to extract cash from people. And those models are prevalent pretty much anywhere in the world with minor variations.
Yeah, there's similar questions coming in from Sialkot. This is like 1,500 kilometers from here. And he's saying that, Suhaib, that all the productions are exported from the city. Sialkot is famous for export sports products. Whatever they produce, they are not concerned about local markets. So what is the question, Suhaib? What is your question? What is your question? He's talking that they're doing it for export market. So another participant, Misha.
Well, in an export market, that's a part of, your customer may not be local. I mean, like you just have to, I used to offer telecom services to Japanese customers. okay? And I offered telecom services to Latin American customers. So one segment was a Latin American business people who were happy to pay me monthly, and they had the credit worthiness to pay me, and I would charge them monthly. When I sold to Japanese students, no offense to students, but their credit worthiness is suspect. So my buyer was the parent of the Japanese student, and I would offer them a US mobile phone to the Japanese student delivered in Tokyo, but you had to prepay for 1 year subscription because mommy or daddy would pay for 1 year in advance to have the young son or daughter have a phone in their pocket for 1 year in advance. So in that case, my revenue model was, if you're the Japanese student, mommy or daddy pays and you pay 1 year in advance. If you're a South American businessman, I trust you to pay monthly because it's valuable to you because you're using it to do business, and you can pay me the month after you use the service. So you can change. Not every customer has to be charged the same way. Much like segmentation is offering different products, right, and offers, price is a product feature. And you can segment your market by how you charge people and when you charge people, and upfront, afterwards, a lot, a low. The same product can be sold on completely different revenue models to completely different segments.
Another interesting question Faisal is asking: the established brands are overcharging for brand value, and new entrants are offering less in trying to emulate the better brands. Is the value for the customer being lost?
So again, every segment has a different value proposition, right? There's people who buy Apple phones overpay for a phone that does internet and FaceTime and everything else. If you buy Huawei, you get a superb phone that doesn't have the brand cachet of Apple, but it does the same functions, and it has a different price proposition in a different market and different affordability characteristics. But at the end of the day, the Huawei phone and the Apple phone make and receive text messages, phone calls, voicemails, app stores, the whole different thing. So different segments are willing to pay for brand versus non-brand, core functionality versus non-core functionality, the same functionality as their friends versus it's not important to me that I'm on the same platform as my friends. You just have to find out, why do the people who want your product, what is it they want to pay for and valuable to them, and what is it that they're unwilling to pay for, and don't try to offer them that. And that's what segmentation is. It's sometimes we create a business and we create a product and we think about the customer we want. And we have to give up and be humble and go, who are the customers that want us? And the humility of business is, you can't always sell to the people you want to sell to. You just have to figure out, how do you serve the people who want to buy from you at profit? But you have to be humble.
One question coming from our woman entrepreneur, Atia, she's asking is that in this lockdown situation, I don't know, in Pakistan, there's sort of a lockdown in many parts of the world. Are there new revenue models emerging, or this lockdown is impacting on new revenue models? Are you experiencing something in your part of the world?
I live in Boston. Boston is the 5th highest market for deaths from COVID in the market. I live right downtown Boston. There's over 1,000 people that have died within a 3-mile radius of me. So yes, I was out walking this morning, and every business I passed by a closed hotel. I only passed by one open business. The hotel was closed completely. The restaurants are closed. The bars were closed. The clothing stores on Newbury Street with the jewelry stores, the fancy clothes stores, all of them closed. The fancy coffee shops, all of them closed. The one ethnic food market was open. So and then in one of the local markets as well, their model changed, where they said they're putting up pictures of their products on the website and saying, here's what the product is, here's the price. If you order it, we're going to give you a delivery time, and you can come by outside our shop at your delivery slot, and your bag of groceries will be available at that time, but you cannot come into the store. And the same with the local pizza shop. We had to go sit down at our table to order pizza, and to have, if you wanted wine, you could only order it in the store with the pizza. Now they changed the rules that you can order the pizza and up to 2 bottles of wine, and it will be prepared to go. But nobody enters the shop. The dine-in pizza place has now become a to-go pizza place. Another restaurant that's 100 yards from me, you can get your chicken dinner, but you have to get chicken dinner for 6. And it will be pre-cooked and ready to go. And all you have to do is bring it home and heat it up. But it's the same meal for all 6 or all 8 people. So if I'm just 2 people, I'm really still buying the dinner for 8, but I'm going to have it in my freezer, in my fridge, and I'm going to eat it for 3 or 4 days. So they've limited their range of what they're offering. Every business in COVID has limited the availability, only selling the most popular things. There's no choices, no customizations, no options. These are our core packages. You get them in these slots. You can take them or leave them. And there's more than enough demand for a simplified, high service, low touch business models. And some businesses are just dead and closed.
Just a last question from my side. And what is your recommendation? What shall we do to keep on finding new innovation in this area? Read more or experiment more? What shall we do? Find new
experiment more and ask more. Every time you have, because remember, a new customer doesn't know how you do things with the old customers. So every new customer you get, how would you like us to charge you for this service? How much would you like to pay? Every new customer is an opportunity for a new experiment in creating a price bundle and offering them a price bundle to see if they'll choose that new price bundle over what you're already offering to your other customers. Every new customer is an experiment. And every existing customer who's bought from you a few times, you can also say, would you now we're offering this new way of buying from us. Would you like to buy from us this way or that way? How you will lose customers is telling them, we are now doing things this way. We have decided that we want to do things this way, and you all have to move. Do not do that. Choice, choice, choice. And smart choices that bring in cash, more cash, sooner, at lower risk, leads to the most sustainable business models, revenue models. Choice, choice, choice. Within reason.
I'm so extremely thankful to you, Kevin, that you spared your time, and I really love the lunch which I had with you. And Kevin's wife writes for HBR. She writes for Harvard Business Review, and Kevin has been engaged at the Harvard Business School. He works in South America, in Dubai as well. And I'm looking forward for one day that he visits us in Pakistan and experience the Pakistani hospitality. Kevin, if you can quickly wait for 1-2 minutes, our Pakistani students, they are doing something interesting and they want to show you live. Karachi is like 20 million plus city. Yep. And there are a lot of poor people and they're locked down in this lockdown situation. So our IB student, Taki, and his team, these are our BBA and MBA students studying entrepreneurship. They gather together, and in this very dangerous and critical situation, you're taking enough safety measures. They raise some money and they're providing food to the doorstep of those people who are jobless. So Taki, can you please, you have 3-4 minutes because we are running over time, and Kevin is kind enough we just wanted to share what's happening in Pakistan. So my other colleagues can also see, and you can also experience what is happening. Taki, can you listen? Taki?
Thank you. Yes, I can listen. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for taking out your time. Greetings to all the participants in the class.
Is there people from all over the country? Yes.
Okay, so greetings. Thank you so much for your time. I'll just spare 2-3 minutes from your valuable time. So I just want to show you around that you all know the current corona crisis that the country is facing, and that has hit the daily wages the most, and the people who were living close to the poverty line. So we all, being students and being very responsible citizens of the country, we decided to serve humanity in whatever capacity we can. We collected funds from our friends, families, and we started a ration drive. So I would just like to show you that we're based in Karachi University right now, and this is the work. It's around 11 p.m. right now, and these are our teams on work.
Yep.
So we are serving about 600 ration bags, and one ration bag feeds about a family of 5 people for 15 days. And in these desperate times, we see that it's a need. The reason that I wanted to come up and join the class, and I requested sir, was to ask for contribution, to ask from help from you people in whatever capacity that you can. Being on the ground, what we have experienced is that there's a lot of demand. People are helpless. People are desperately trying for help, and we are not able to meet all of those people. Also, this is the time of the month of Ramadan, so we want to make this a little more bearable for all our brothers and sisters. I'll share the account details if you would like to pay any donation, any charity of any sort. That would be really help. One family of people, around 5 people, we are feeding them in 2,000 rupees. So that's about
how do you dispatch them to their houses? What do you do?
Okay, so to dispatch them to their houses, what we have done is we have taken help of a few unemployed bikers, riders from Food Panda, Bikea, and other companies. And we are reaching them to their doorstep. The main purpose of employing these people was to give them a job, to give them a sense of security, and also take their services because they are unemployed as of right now. So we are reaching them directly on their doorsteps, and that's how we are doing it.
And you're using Careem as well, huh?
Yeah, we are using Careem, we are using Bikea, we are using all the riders that previously used to deliver food for different restaurants.
Wow.
And they were able to connect with major manufacturers of pulse and cooking oil to get a reduced price, huh? Is it? And they were supported. Yeah. They were supportive to you.
So basically, what I'll show you, we have been supported by a number of local manufacturers. For example, this is a Super Biscuit. They gifted us charity in kind. And this is Smile Industries. Besides, we have some companies for the rices, the pulses, and the oil. This is a typical ration bag that we are giving in, and it has all the essentials, necessaries, all the grocery items that you need, and especially this bar of soap, which is a necessity in the times of Corona. We are also pushing people to wash their hands. So we have everything, every essential grocery item that is required in Ramadan.
Great. Nice. And how do you take care of your own security and your own health? How do you protect yourself? It's very dangerous nowadays. Yeah.
So basically, that's a very important question. And we always push our people to wear masks, to wear gloves. We are also giving people soaps and sanitizers. We have a sanitizer on board in our facility where we are working right now, just so that people can take care of themselves, because our safety, the safety of volunteers, comes first.
Great. Nice. So I appreciate Karachi University who provided them space, and most of them are IB students, is it? And yes. Farid is here today? He's left? Okay. So there are a lot of IB students, and I must appreciate. So can you write your mobile number? Anybody can you write your mobile number? Type it down in the chat box. Anybody who, I visited them yesterday, and I know them. They are my students from the Center for Entrepreneurial Development. So back to Kevin, and Kevin, this is a quick, let me just quickly share our center's picture before we say goodbye to you? No, I think it will. I will have to. So yeah, just it will be. I need a quick one. So it's morning time what is the time in Boston, Kevin?
It's after lunch. It's 2 p.m. or something. Yes.
Okay, great.
2:20. Yeah.
So what our center did this in this Corona issue is this is our center. Can you see the picture?
Yep.
Kevin, can you see the picture?
Yeah.
So and you know the center was developed with the help of Babson. So 7 people got training from Babson. If you remember 2013 when we met there, this is a bigger picture. This is what we are doing right now. We do entrepreneurship trade teaching. We're trying to mimic Babson in a different way. We have entrepreneurship teaching, faculty development, GEM research, incubator, we have some co-curricular activities. We have women entrepreneurship, kids entrepreneurship, mothers entrepreneurship. And then very recently, this is a mother's entrepreneurship being graduated. They come here for like a 4 months program, Friday and Saturday, and many of them start doing work. And then we have international summer school, in which we would like to invite you sometime.
Nice,
where people from various countries, even from Boston, they came here. Agriculture, fishing entrepreneurship. And this is we won the USASP award in 2017 for the Best Entrepreneurship Program Award. And I think credit goes to you people, the Babson people who trained us, who helped us. So right now we have started an online entrepreneurship program. It is recorded and it is being sent through our local learning management system. So your video will be going to like Africa and I don't know where. Your video will go to like 3,000 people. So you will be a popular person when you visit Pakistan next time. This is the map of Pakistan and you see the dots. This is a mountainous area, desert area. This is the populated, we are here right now, Karachi.
Yeah.
And many of my friends are from Islamabad and this Lahore. So you are a very popular person, I think, and next time. So that was a quick introduction to our program. And this is our centers inside building and the library. This is the classroom, typical classroom. So I hope one day you will come here and this is our team. Azad, Imran, Raul, Talha, Abdullah, and the women team. And so these are mini Babson in Pakistan, and this was your picture, and this is the Babson.
Nice.
So once again, I would like to thank you a lot. Say my regards to your wife, and
yeah.
we're full of joy, and everybody in the comment box you can see we would like to share. They're full of thanks.
That's fine. And my final thought is thank you, Dr. Shahid, for the opportunity to participate here today. And entrepreneurship is not a selfish activity. And I think what you shared there from Taki was entrepreneurship is about creating value for our community, yes, for our customers, for our constituencies. And so in difficult times, we can be more inventive and creative in how do we create value for others, but we don't always have to charge for that value. The key of entrepreneurship is to create value for our communities. And I think we'll see some tremendous creativity in how entrepreneurs are helping to step up and be valuable contributors to communities as well as to customers. And it's going to be, and I'll say optimistically, entrepreneurship comes from constraints of resources. And when people have had this time to step back and experience some constraints and some hardships and some setbacks, we'll all come back stronger, more resilient, and more hungry to do more meaningful work with our business ideas and remember who we serve and how well we can serve people. So thank you for the great leadership and example that you have shown in propagating entrepreneurship.
This has brought the people together.
Yeah. And
this has brought us together. Thank you for sparing time. Mr. Ilyas is saying one of the best talk in our entrepreneurship learning. Great.
Oh,
So people are so excited and happy. And there's, see, 2 days ago, Saras was there, and we will be having, the day after tomorrow, we'll be having Miles Davis. He's the president of a university on the West Coast.
Oh, excellent.
Miles is the president. He's working on faith-based entrepreneurship.
Nice.
So he will be coming day after tomorrow from the West Coast. So our people, we couldn't think that Americans and Europeans we can see and interact. This has brought a new opportunity.
It is. Amazing. It's a pleasure.
And then we'll be having Hans from Uli from Bangkok.
Oh, yes.
Coming in.
I know Uli well.
They will be sharing in a few days.
Super.
So the world is getting closer. So
right.
Thank you very much, sir.
The world is
Kevin,
coming to Pakistan. That's how it's getting. The world is not getting closer. The world is coming to Pakistan. It's what's happening.
So great. And Assalamu alaikum. I remember your dates, which you brought from Dubai, right? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Assalamu
Thank
alaikum.
you. Bye.